Hi friends, and welcome back to Sessions with Koren. I am so happy to be back with you for another week. If you missed us last week, this is a brand new platform on ABS TV where we plan to address topics that matter and that are important to you. Everything from current events, mental health, and various aspects of relationships. We'll even be talking about your home, your jobs, and much more. A quick recap of last week's show for those who missed it. We spoke about leaving 2023 behind and venturing into 2024 and the way that we will approach this. We had a special guest with us last week, 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐻𝐻, and we spoke about how we will plan for 2024. What are we going to leave behind? Are we going to leave toxic relationships? Are we going to leave grudges? Are we going to leave relationships that drain us? What are we taking into 2024? We plan to take our loyal friendships, our perseverance, resilience, our dreams, and our visions. I hope that you made some notes last week and you remember to be accountable when you make your resolutions. And you also remember, stick with the plan. This week, we will be talking about a new topic. We'll be talking about decluttering. We'll be talking about your physical space. We'll be talking about mental clarity. So before we get into that, I want to thank those of you who tuned in last week, and I want to thank you for your many positive and helpful comments. We will focus on the impact of your physical environment on your mental health today. Please follow us on Facebook and on our YouTube platform, and we will be back with you right after the break. Welcome back to Sessions with Koren, the second of many episodes where we will focus on everything pertaining to your well-being here in Antigua and Barbuda and beyond. Welcome again. As we mentioned before the break, today we will focus on the impact of your physical environment on your mental health. We will be taking a look at the various aspects of our lives in order to make an assessment. How are we being affected by mental baggage or physical clutter? To help us examine this topic, I want to welcome today a very special guest to the couch, Miss Keisha Schahaff. Keisha is a very accomplished individual. Keisha had the privileges of winning 2 tickets for a space voyage aboard Virgin Galactic. She shared this extraordinary experience with her daughter, making them the first mother-daughter duo from the Caribbean to venture into space. This remarkable journey is just one of her many achievements. She is also a certified MAP practitioner and coach who harnesses the power of neuroscience and manifestation therapy to achieve remarkable results, to heal trauma, and eliminate mental barriers. She also serves as a wellness coach and self-development mentor, empowering women to pursue their dreams and overcome their fears. Keisha, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm pleased and honored to have you here with us on the couch.
Thank you, Koren. The honor is mine just to be here, and this is such a beautiful topic that we're going to be touching today. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, it's my pleasure. So the first question I want to ask you is our physical environment, where we live, where we work, our cars, where we dwell, anywhere we are. How does it impact our energy levels and our overall well-being?
Wow, that's a very beautiful question. And we must remember that we're all energetic beings, first of all. So everything in our environment all holds an energy. And if we want to meet that full potential of who we are, we have to to unlock our energy, we have to declutter the garbage from around us. I call it garbage because when I see it like that, I'm not holding on to it. So it's very important to learn how to let go, how to organize what's around us so that it can serve us best, because these are all tools for us to use. They're not tools for us to clutter and to hoard on to anything. So we have to first of all learn how to let go and release.
That is so important. And I understand that when we look at our environment, there are lots of things we can let go of. Sometimes though, we have things that might be a bit more sentimental.
Yes.
So what happens when you're going through trying to make space and you come across things that have some sort of attachment, or it was a gift from a grandmother? How do you declutter when you have so many sentimental things around you?
And and I understand that very well because I myself go through that as well. But you have to go through the things that are most important for you, that you're actually using. I don't see things as ornament around me. If I can pass it on to somebody else who can enjoy it, then I will do that. But there are certain things that I will hold on my space, my sacred space, which I see as my altar. But even that itself, I try to keep it very light because I want the idea that energy is flowing. So we're not holding on or grasping to anything in that particular way. But if you look at it and you feel like the energy is not flowing, it's time for you to let that go. You just say, hey, you're within me. You're not in this object. That is almost like holding an idol. So we release it because we don't want to hold anything with stagnated energy, and it blocks us from reaching our potential. We have to learn to let go.
That is so important, letting go.
Yeah.
How do we know when the energy is flowing though? Like, how do I know when the energy is really flowing, or if I really need to do something about it?
The thing with that, which is also an excellent question, is to look at how you're feeling. How are you feeling within space, your body space, your mind space, your heart space. And also look at your life, look at the results inside of your life. Yes. Because what you're doing will create the success in your life today. If you find that in this particular moment things are not moving for you, you're feeling depressed and stuck, maybe the money not in the bank account, maybe the type of friends that you should be having that will lead you in the right direction, like all of these things. Look at many different aspects. Maybe your job that you're working, you're not being successful in it, you're not getting the clients you want, or being that person that you want to be, because you have to visualize and see who do I want to become.
Yes.
And start clearing away the clutter that's blocking you from becoming that type of person. So you have to look at your life and see where you are, and if you're not where you want to be, start looking at how you can shift things around so the energy can flow for you.
I love that. I love the imagery. I love the way you put it. Yes. So this is where I am now today, Koren, and this is where I want to be financially, health-wise, and all that.
Yes.
What stands between me and that?
Yes.
What clutter?
Exactly.
Physically or mentally?
Exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about mental clutter.
Okay.
With the mental clutter, how do we focus on when we have too much stuff in our head? How does that stop us from getting forward?
So it all begins in the mind, really, because when we see it, we can receive it. And if we cannot see it clearly, how can you create what you cannot see? How would you know what to create if you cannot see it? And one of the very important tools that I've invited into my life a very long time ago is meditation. Meditation helps you really to navigate your mind. You're not trying to get rid of anything. You're just trying to see what's there and make your choices of what you want to bring your energy towards. So when there's certain type of thought patterns inside of your mind, limitation, like you're holding yourself back, fears and all of that, what purpose does this serve me? So it's me taking control inside of my mind center, my mind space. You're not serving me right now, so I move on to the next. Not that I'm pushing you away, because I understand the forces of the universe. Whatever you're going to push away is going to come back at you with a force. And whatever you're trying to pull towards you, which is clinging, is going to move away from you anyway. So you want to just be relaxed with that and just basically be aware of what's there. So you can see what's serving you and what's not serving you. So that's cleaning out the clutter in the mind right there. That's how you do it. But you're not doing it like you're trying to create any friction or you're ashamed of this thought or anything. It's just a thought. It's just like a cloud passing through your mind. So let it pass through, let it flow, let it go. So sometimes you have to be like a bystander. Like sit and watch yourself and figure out, hey, this is not where I wanted to be. This is where I am. Why am I so fearful? And you know, it's interesting because the last time we had someone, she talked about self-sabotage. And now you talk about fear. It's a sort of similar thing. Sometimes we are holding ourselves back. Fear is one thing that keeps us from moving forward. What about, is it fear of self? Is it fear of what we will accomplish? What sort of fears stay in our mind, and where do they come from actually? So when we're looking at fear, it's a personal thing, it's an individual thing. So we can talk about our own fears, what holds us back, but it might be different from what is holding someone else back. So that's an assessment that an individual has to look within themselves to see, and this is where the meditation is coming in again. So once you can notice this thing that's showing up in your life, you can always thread it back to where this thing began. The way I see it, we're really we're stocked up memories just walking around. Lots of things started from when we were children, and a lot of these things are what are affecting us right now today. We notice a lot of patterns from the elders who were in our life when we were children, and we're sponges. We pick up all of that and not even realize within our consciousness that this is where this pattern started, because we saw mommy, daddy, granny, cousin, auntie, whoever it might have been, teacher. It's not like it's their fault, because first of all, we don't want to blame anybody for anything. There's no villain and there's no victim. So I keep that in the back of my mind when I'm navigating through my life in this way. But threading it back to see where this began is a great way where you can weed it out, where you say, thank you so much, you served your purpose, but I'm taking over. This 46-year-old version of me is taking over the 2-year-old version that picked up this particular pattern. And you declutter it, you let it go. Thank you so much. I release you in peace. I release you in love. So in everything, you just try to be gentle with yourself, forgiving with yourself, with this space of love, and just let it go. That's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Thank you. And you're right. A lot of the lessons that we learned as children. And the persons who taught them to us sometimes did not know any better. Exactly. So for us to sit here and hold on to resentment, because my parents this and my guardians this, it's not helping us. It's not helping them. And so we need to understand that people perhaps did the best they could at the time. But now that we know better, we can do better. We can do better. So we can let go of the fears and all the things that were barriers. Meditation, as you mentioned, is really good for us to be able to sit and figure out, okay, let me sit with my thoughts. Some of us are afraid of that, but it's really, really useful. So Keisha, let me ask you something else. You talked a lot about the personal aspect. When it comes to your workspace, some of us are creatives, some of us work in offices, some of us work at home. And if you're doing work that requires a lot of focus, a lot of concentration, how is that important? How do you get to be able to focus on your work and have that mental clarity? Right. Very great question as well. Excellent one. Just imagine yourself sitting in a garbage dump. Once you put yourself there, look around. You see pile of garbage here, everywhere. How do you feel within yourself? Wow.
Now this is starting to feel like a therapy session.
Now,
it would not feel good at all.
Now picture yourself sitting in this beautiful hall, very airy space, everything sectioned out nicely, like this beautiful room right here. We have the books laid out there nicely. And look at how you feel in that space. This is what we want to create for ourselves. So when you think of the workplace, the same principles apply. Space out your work, make sure that you have the colors. The color setting is nice and soft colors that are not too wild, and colors can affect us, our mood and all of that. So I tend to like to look at the sky. I really love the blue sky. So blue is usually my color, and white's like the cloud, and so I like these type of colors. Now think of the air. Is the air fresh? Do you feel the ventilation, the wind, or even if you're in air conditioning, it's cleaned nicely, so you have fresh, nice air is coming in. So that affects your health very much. Now look around and look at the things that you're using, maybe your computer, your pens, whatever. Space them out nicely that they're reachable. Things that you're using constantly are in your space right there. Look at things like the cords for the wires and all of that. We're into technology. Wrap them up nicely so that they are spaced out in a professional, decluttering way.
Yes.
Right? You have your files. Sometimes we have all these papers just thrown down there, and we leave it like that, and we come back the next day and it's still like that. Create habits where you're tidying up and keeping things in its rightful place. Right? Only take out the document you're working on right now. When you're finished with it, put it back in its place and take out the next one. Make sure you empty your garbage daily. I say daily because, again, we're looking at our hygiene as well.
Yes, of course.
Right? So all of this will impact our mental state, and we will feel more focused.
Yes.
We will feel like we can actually do this work, and we don't feel that heavy burden. How many times you go and you sit at your desk, you don't even want to be there because the space is not inviting for you.
Yes.
Right? So there's so many other tips, but these are some of the main ones that you can look at when you're looking at your space in the workplace. Everything tidy, there's no dust anywhere. Clean your workspace as often as possible. Don't think that, that's not my job or whatever, I'm just here, too important. No, you have to look at all of this. Create the habits that will bring the success in your life that you're looking for.
I love it. I really love it. And it gives you less distraction.
Yes.
As you mentioned, when the cords are put away, there are not a lot of files. Because if you have this cluttered desk and the area, you go in and you don't know where to start.
Yes.
And sometimes rather than starting, you just sit around and wait because you just don't know where to start. And so you're stunted.
Yes.
And so I like the idea of a clean and tidy space. And you mentioned the sky. You remember as children, we would lay in the grass, not we, you and I, but people.
Yes,
we lay in the grass
thing.
and we looked up at the sky and the clouds and we felt a sense of peace.
Peace, yes.
And there's no clutter there.
Yes.
It's just the blue sky and the clouds, and we felt a sense of peace.
And if you leave nature alone, you notice that nature sorts itself in its right order.
Yes.
You have the river is running here nice and clean. Over here you have the palm trees, over there you have the mango trees. So we should follow nature in the best way that we can.
I love that. Nature has order.
Yes, it has order.
There's morning, there's a lunchtime, there's a night, and there is order.
And there's seasons, everything for it, yes.
Yes, so that's a good plan to follow, having that order and less chaos. So we've looked a little bit at the home, we've looked at workplace. What about people? This is going to be a really hard one. In terms of us having this mental clarity, this peace, this success, we look at our lives and we recognize we have all kinds of people in there.
Yes.
How challenging is it to get, I don't want to say get rid of some people, because then we sounding like mafia. I want to say
no, we're not getting rid of anybody.
No, but how challenging it is to decide, listen, there's some people that need to leave my life.
Yeah.
How do we make that decision, and then how do we separate ourselves from people who just bring chaos and drama into our life?
I know that a lot of people would, to answer a question like this, a lot of people believe that we should just get rid, like when you say get rid of, not like that, but just leave people who are not serving us on the side.
Okay.
But I believe that they will fall away on their own.
Okay.
When we're working on ourselves, when you're raised so much in your vibration and you're working on yourself, your self-love, your self-care, decluttering, keeping your life as clean as you can, setting healthy boundaries for yourself. No one can climb over your wall because you have such high standards for yourself, high boundaries for yourself, that this type of decluttering people will just happen on its own naturally in that way. Because, you know, there's a saying, misery likes company.
Yes.
So people who are not bringing value to your life, they will just easily slip away on their own because they're uncomfortable in your space, because you're so clean that their shadows are being seen, recognized too vivid, or you know, too much clarity will come forth for them. So the whole idea is knowing what you want in friendships and relationships with people, your core values and all of that. And once you can stick to your core values and your core beliefs, then the right people will attract to you because of the energy that you're bringing out.
Okay.
So when your energy starts to shift, and you notice that different types of people are coming your way, you know that the work is happening. This is the result of the work, right? So that's how you declutter people from your life.
Okay. So once you start changing, they'll be uncomfortable around that, and they might just move on to other people who are more like them.
So can you imagine you're telling somebody, well, I'm changing, I'm decluttering, so I'm getting rid of you now. That's quite unkind, right?
Yes.
And we don't want to be unkind like that. We want to inspire other people. So when you start to shift like that, yes, they may move away, but they could also look back and feel inspired by what you're doing, and they can start making a shift in their life as well. Because when we can make ourselves better, we're making the whole planet better.
Yes.
That's how we're doing it. We don't want separation. We don't want to push anybody and let them feel like something is wrong with me or something like that. So that's how I like to see or view when it comes to decluttering people.
I love that approach.
Yeah.
We're not leaving anybody behind. So instead of having to say, John, I'm sorry, but we're taking different paths now, you just start taking your path, and John might be inspired to follow, or John might decide his path is not for him and leave. So we don't have to do all the heavy lifting. It happens automatically.
Yes.
Well, I have one final question for you. So we're talking about decluttering, being able to focus, have mental clarity, have space to think and breathe, and have life and having good energy.
Right.
So give us a few small steps that we can take in terms of decluttering. Let me tell you one thing that I tried. I used to set the clock, I think, for like 10 minutes and try to do some decluttering, but it didn't work because it wasn't enough time, and I was just all over the place. Bedroom today somewhere, but that didn't work. So I'm counting on you now, Keisha. So give me and our viewers some method in which we can go about with the decluttering process in our physical spaces.
So that's also an excellent question, and I can answer that from what I do with myself. Right? So many times to stick to a habit is not the easiest. It's like you just mentioned, you tried the 10 minutes, but you have to find a strong enough why for yourself to anchor yourself into why do I want to do this? Where do I want to go with this? And when you can see and visualize that very clearly, then you're strongly motivated to do the work for yourself. The second thing is to cultivate that love for yourself. Self-love is very important. That's a great motivator as well. I love myself so much that my self-care is most important. That's number one. And when I can work on my self-care, I'm now creating habits. And it's fun for me because I'm anchored into my why and my vision. I'm anchored into the love I have for myself. If we can't love ourselves, who else is going to do it for us, right? So self-care is number one. So I'm getting up early in the morning every day because my self-care is how I begin the day. I begin the day with my self-practice. Obviously, you clean yourself up, you get out the bed and whatever, but I start with meditation. I make time for that. Whatever else is going to happen throughout my day, I'm starting with meditation. So everything else will get pushed back. I'm sorry guys, I'm late, I was meditating. I had a moment for myself, right? So you start your day with a moment for yourself in meditation, and then I move into doing my practices, my little yoga practices, stretching my body, getting the energy in my body flowing for this day now. Tidy up my space, set a timer for whatever time, let's say 10 minutes, like you said. You know, you have to put things back in place. So if you already spent that time decluttering, now it's easy to maintain that process. Keep putting things back in place. Now, I'm a person that can get messy if I don't do that. So I have to put if I use a cup, I drink some coffee in the morning, I wash it and I put it back, dry it and put it back in its place. So I began with one area of the house that I make sure that's area I focus on. Let's say that's the kitchen. So no matter what time of the day, my kitchen is always 100% clean.
Wow.
Right? So I feel good about that.
Yes.
So that's one step accomplished. Because I feel so good in my kitchen space, I want to feel good in my bedroom space and the other space. So now I put some focus on that, and I start to tidy these places now. And because it's already decluttered, it's easy for me to maintain that. And I know that if you're doing anything, you do it 100%. If you do it 100%, there's no doubt in it. You can stay focused on that 100%. And then everything flows like that. Now you bring this practice in all areas of your life. You bring it into your health as well. Make sure that you look after yourself. You eat very clean. So my fridge as well is decluttered. I put everything in order and sort. You spend one day and you sort everything out, then your whole week just goes very easily because the fridge is already sorted. I can just grab this is what I'm making today, grab that's what I'm making tomorrow, things like that. The workplace, we already touched on that. You continue and you just bring this type of mindset into the workplace as well. You will be amazed to see how your life starts to flourish. Energy is just moving through your entire life. Moving through, you have great relationships, your money is flowing, you're being creative, opportunities are coming to you, people are reaching out to you because your energy is radiant, you're glowing. So it all begins with yourself.
Wow, that's a lot. You need to put that into a book or something, Keisha.
I'll put a blog. You can go and read all of this on my blog. After this, I'll write a blog and put it on my website.
Yes, because you gave us a lot of food for thought.
Yes.
Thank you so very much for being with us.
Thank you.
The advice and the suggestions you gave, starting with self, the workplace, our body, our health, our homes, has been very useful. So all the best to you for 2024.
Thank you, and you as well. Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
You too. Welcome back. Here are 6 tips on enhancing both your physical and mental space. Number 1, color. Choose calming hues. Choose soothing colors like blues, greens, and neutrals for walls and large furniture. These colors are known to promote relaxation and a sense of calm. Accent colors for energy are useful. You can introduce energizing accent colors in the form of cushions, artwork, or small decor items. Reds and yellows can add warmth and vibrancy. The second thing is light. Natural light is good and impacts your mood and your productivity. Maximize natural light as much as possible during the day by keeping windows open, using lighter curtains, and you can use lamps or layered lighting, which allow you to adjust the lighting based on the different activities and the moods that you're feeling. Number 3, Display objects that hold personal significance or bring positive memories. This creates a connection to your space and contributes to a sense of identity. Functional decor, you can choose the items that have a dual purpose. Items that are aesthetically pleasing and also have practical function. Scents. Use aromatherapy through essential oils, candles, or diffusers. Lavender, chamomile, and citrus scents are known for their calming properties, while peppermint and eucalyptus can invigorate. Associate specific scents with relaxation or focus. Using the same scent consistently when engaging in certain activities can create a mental trigger for your brain. Music. Create playlists. Develop playlists tailored to different moods or activities. Calming instrumental music for relaxation, upbeat tunes for energy, and focus-enhancing songs for work. Consider your tasks. Match the tempo and style of music to the task you have at hand. When your upbeat music boosts productivity and the softer tunes can promote relaxation. Remember, personalization is key, and if you're in a shared space, be mindful of others. If you're in a shared space like a home or an office, get the permission of the other persons to make dramatic changes to the space. If you're in your own personal space, however, it can reflect your unique preferences and needs. Experiment with different colors, with different scents, with different elements. Observe how they affect your mood and adjust them accordingly. Create a comfortable and useful space. It's an ongoing process and it will change as your needs and your tastes evolve. I hope you find these tips helpful and begin to use them in your daily life. Viewers, I'd like to encourage you to get involved on social media. You can share your questions and your comments with us. Stay with us as we share a golden nugget. Welcome back. Time now for your golden nugget. Your nugget for today is this: simplify your life and you'll find time for what truly matters. Sometimes we get so caught up with all the demands in life that we don't make enough time for the things that truly matter. When we pause to simplify our lives, we create a bit more space and clarity, allowing us to put our time and energy into the relationships and the things that bring us the most fulfillment. And that's it for another episode of Sessions with Koren. Join us next week at the same time right here on ABS TV for another session. Thanks for watching and see you all next time.